England. They came from Barbados. In some very real fashion, historically, we're more like a sub-colony. We were more like a sub-colony of Barbados than we were a colony of Great Britain. So to continue that relationship, we're blessed this week to have a contingent visiting us from Barbados, and they are led by Rudy Grant, who's the Consul General to Miami from the country of Barbados. I'm going to ask Rudy to come forward, introduce his colleagues, and make just a few remarks to us this evening while they're here. Rudy? And Rudy took real good care of us when we were down there in Barbados, I can tell you that. Rolled out the carpet.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the City of Charleston Council, members of the public, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Let me first of all start by thanking you, Mayor, for this invitation to be here and for the partnership. I am joined by my consul in Miami, Marvin Brathwaite, from the Consulate General of Barbados. And I'm joined as well with Miss Kay Greenidge, who is the Chief Executive Officer of Invest Barbados. And my name is Rudy Grant. I'm the Consul General for Barbados, based in Miami. In the Consul, we have responsibility for 11 states, and one of those states, Mayor, is South Carolina. I always like to start by making reference to the strong relationship between Barbados and the US. And Mayor, you spoke with respect to a bit of the history. I believe it was the slave code of 1661 that saw a number of persons from Barbados coming here to the Carolinas. I believe the first governor, if I'm correct, of South Carolina,
John Ames,
was a Barbadian of Barbadian descent. And the connection between Barbados and Charleston is certainly very strong. I don't know how many of you are aware that the only place outside of the USA that George Washington visited was Barbados. In fact, in 1751, George Washington's half-brother, Lawrence, he wasn't doing too well, and it was felt that he should go to a place like Barbados. And while in Barbados, George Washington contracted smallpox. And of course, he was able to survive that. In those days, in the 18th century in Virginia, smallpox was not rampant. In the Caribbean, it was an endemic in the Caribbean. And what had happened is that George Washington contracted smallpox. He was able to survive. And in those days, once you survive smallpox, what happened was that you developed an immunity. So when George Washington came back to the USA, and he was leading the troops, while other members of the troops got ill with smallpox and eventually died, unfortunately, because of his immunity, he was not affected. And I start with those things because I think it's very important to recognize the contribution that Barbados has made in a very strong way to where the US is today. Of course, your first president, indeed, your republic is one that is very old, 1776. If my memory is correct, July 4th is the day that you celebrate your independence. Barbados became independent on the 30th of December, 1966. And on the 30th of December, 2021, we became a republic. So we are actually the world's youngest republic. And we've had over the years extremely good relations with the USA. And we are certainly looking forward to continued collaboration and deepening the relationships that we have with the people of Charleston. We believe very strongly that through that collaboration, there can be mutual benefits. Of course, there are many similar issues that we must confront. Our Prime Minister, the Honorable Mia Motley, has become not only a person who speaks on the global stage with respect to Barbados, but she's become a leader for small island developing states. We are impacted in Barbados by hurricanes in the same way that you are. And we would have initiated what is known as the Bridgetown Initiative. And the Bridgetown Initiative essentially is designed to ensure that poor countries and developing countries are able to access funding with respect to climate change issues. The rich countries of the world are able to access funding at 1% to 4% interest, while poor countries have to access funding at 14%. Some people are referring to the Bridgetown Initiative as similar to the US Marshall Plan. But we believe that it's extremely important to push such an initiative. Climate change is critical and important to us. We, of course, as a small island developing state, tourism too is important to us in the same way that it is to you, Mayor. And during COVID, when we had our significant challenges, we were able to introduce a program known as Welcome Stamp, where we encourage persons to come to Barbados not only to have fun, but to work as well. So those of you who hear my voice and you want to come to a destination where you can just relax on the beach and do your work at the same time, then Barbados is the ideal place for you. Of course, we are known as well for our culinary delights. And I have to say that when I was here last year, I was given a Bible by the Gullah-Geechee people. And when I got to the hotel and I looked at the Gullah Bible and I started to read it, it read like Bajan. We have a dialect in Barbados known as Bajan, and everything that was in there was something that I could recognize. I know the mayor said that I should be brief, so I will not speak too much longer, but simply to say that we are very excited to be here. Our delegation includes members from the Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc. It includes Invest Barbados. Miss Greenidge is the CEO of Invest Barbados. It includes the representatives of the National Cultural Foundation, as well as the Barbados Chamber of Commerce and Industry. The Consulate is here to help to facilitate and to see how we could collaborate. But I started by making reference to that 1661 slave code. And Mayor, when you were in Barbados last year, you had the opportunity to meet with our Prime Minister. And during that meeting, Prime Minister said that one of the things that we want to do in Barbados is to collaborate and to work with entities, individuals, countries to ensure that we are able to contribute to the global public good. And I have to say that I listened with great keenness to some of the awards that you gave this afternoon. And I thought to myself when I heard about going rowing across it's the Atlantic that you were rowing. I know that we have had persons in Barbados who have done the same thing. I have to say that takes a bit of brave nature to be able to do that, to row across the Atlantic, and I want to commend you. But I want to end by saying very clearly that we look forward to deepening and strengthening our relationship in a manner that is mutually beneficial to the people of Charleston and the people of Barbados. And we think that this is exciting. And I always say that, you know, business is one thing, talking about trade, talking about investment, talking about pharmaceutical opportunities, because we are encouraging businesses to come to Barbados and produce medicines there, opportunities with respect to universities, any universities here in Charleston. We would want to encourage you to come and set up in Barbados. But the fundamental element and aspect really in relation to business relates to the way that we interact with each other. And I have to tell you that Mayor has been an exceptionally good friend has made me feel very welcomed here in Charleston. And in fact, when I came here on Sunday, someone asked me how I felt to be in Charleston again. And I said, it felt like I was just coming back home. So it feels good to be here. Certainly look forward to our continued collaboration and deepening our friendship. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. So, and if our meeting proceeds as promptly as I think it could, I'll let y'all know they're having a little gathering up the street here. And y'all could spend some more time with our friends from Barbados if you'd like to this evening. So next up is our public hearings. And